that, let's just go for our Friday update on QANX. The Quan fanboys are in town. Let's have a look at QANX. So last Friday, I said that we wanted a weekly close above that level. We didn't get that. So I wasn't crazy about that candle, to be honest with you. There was a sign of hope in that we closed above this level, this previous week low. So there was a little bit of hope in that. The price came down to this weekly level, found support. Let's find my levels if I can. Again, I haven't touched my charts to clean them up. And I haven't actually put these levels in, so let me do that now. Should have done this, but weekly, so monthly, weekly, and daily. Let's have a look at these daily levels quickly. Apologies, I haven't done this for a while, so let me just pull that up and chuck these in. Arguably, I should prepare, right? But sometimes I just like to look at the charts and freestyle it without any prejudice, without any bias. I'll update the volume. That's the post-hack volume. Again, no changes. I want to see more volume, huh? This bothers me, yeah, because if we do get an injection of volume, then we're flying, and we're not seeing that. Okay. Right now, what we're seeing is continued accumulation. You can see it. You can see it on the volume. Yeah, the volume is pretty steady. It's actually dropping off a little bit, but we've had pretty steady volume, and it's not crazy. Actually, let me, for the sake of curiosity, let me have a look at the volume. $53 million market cap. That's bloody cheap. Yeah, the volume is low. Look at that. That volume. And it's a shame, really, because it deserves more, you know. QANX deserves more volume, and it's not really getting the volume that we need. This is like, this kind of bothers me a little bit, you know, like you know, people who know me, they know that I follow this other token, TRVL, D-Travel. And look, the market cap is 3.3 million. Look at the volume. It's like $500,000. Look at that. Look at the volume on TRVL. Look at the market cap and look at the volume. And then look at QANX. You've got a 10x market cap and you've got half the volume. So that kind of, I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but it's a flag. I wouldn't say red, but it is a flag. It's definitely a flag. And it kind of bothers me. What we need is more volume to give us the confidence about any move, which we're not getting right now. I don't know if it's because we're on a single exchange and not on more exchanges. Let me have a look at the exchanges now. Gates. Look, Uniswap has more volume than Gates. PancakeSwap, and they were in BingX, Bitmart, and look, the volume is low. And these exchanges, they They do more volume, you know, like Gates is not a small exchange. It's not a tier one. But look, Gate does this is Gate. They do $1 billion worth of Bitcoin volume, $1 billion worth of ETH volume. Look, they do volume. There is volume on Gate. And yet QANX isn't really getting much attention. So it's a flag, huh? For me, it's a flag. I can't comment more than that. Let me just have a look at the X page because I haven't looked. Four hours ago, this is interesting. What are they saying? Quantum breakthrough, the silicon moment has arrived. Quantum Motion just deployed the world's first silicon CMOS quantum computer at the UK National Quantum Computing Centre. This isn't another lab prototype. It's built using standard 300mm semiconductor fabrication, the same process powering modern CPUs and GPUs, same tech that makes your iPhone now making qubits. Why this matters for crypto? Your encryption algorithms just entered their final countdown. Bastards. Scales to million. What is this? The essential impacts of quantum motion's full stack quantum computer. Scales to millions of qubits, suppressing thresholds needed for cryptographic attacks. Wow, 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 wow. Can't not like that and repost that. Meet Quan platform at the Korea Blockchain Week. I think they need to invite me, huh? Head of Strategic Partnerships. And tell people about, well, not really. I don't really know much about the quantum field. So that's good. They're kind of going out and doing shit. I wouldn't panic, you know, like I'm not panicking. We're above the point of control. We're above this trend line. We've tested it a few times. We've kind of lost it and reclaimed it, and we've back tested it again. I don't want to see us lose this area, and that's, for me, that's really important. I kind of don't want to lose this area again. I think that would be problematic if we lost this area and resisted it. Then we are kind of heading to the lows here. And that would be your next area of support. To be honest with you, I'm not expecting it. I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying that shit happens, you know, and then you could end up with something like this for a massive fake out, pump out, pump, and then pump to the moon. But that would be like your big fake out. That would be like, oh fuck this token is dead now. What am I doing? I mean, accumulating for 4 years, it hasn't done anything. Binance coin is all-time highs. I lost money because I didn't put my money into other tokens, and yet that could be the opportunity of a lifetime, because all of a sudden you get a lot of people selling, but it's the value area low. It's just taking out the liquidity of these lows. In a sense, it's a higher low because you're just putting a higher low here and here without taking that low. I don't want it to happen. It would scare a lot of people, but I'd rather us just hold support here, hold strong support here. You want to buy 70,000 tokens? Wow. Honestly, yeah, honestly, not financial advice. Honestly, dollar cost average. I don't think there's any other strategy that's going to keep you safe in the market. Crazy PA. Yeah, because yeah, I think if you want to buy 70,000, take these lows, hit the value area low here. That's a good place to buy. Of course it is. You've just taken these lows and you've hit the value area low. The problem is you're into the point of control, into resistance, and it could reject. Okay. You don't know that. No one knows that. But if we get the volume, then you could pump and pump and pump and pump and pump. Right? We don't know what's going to happen. No one can predict that. So in terms of, you just want to buy at the cheapest price, if you ever have an opportunity to take out these lows and buy QANX, yeah, that would be the fucking amazing place to buy. But at the same time, you might miss it. You might miss it because you've got a lot of eagle-eyed QANX maximalists who would love to take these lows here for a nice test, a real test of the point of control without a front run. Does that make sense? So actually, that would be your first area of interest, I think. Why should I think lower when we haven't lost the point of control? And this point of control is a big one. It's the overall range point of control, and we haven't lost this trend line yet. Does that make sense? So I would say probably another rotation to take these lows would be a good place to pick up more of this token. Yeah, why not? But for people who are like ready to buy the ultimate dip, then you would have to go for these lows. You're going for the lows, aren't you? You're trying to go for the lows. Most people haven't got the time, haven't got the patience, haven't got the nerves to wait. They're not trading, they're accumulating. And in that essence, I think dollar cost average, dollar cost average, dollar cost average. Buy red candles, buy a little bit on every red candle. Don't even think about the price. You're not looking at the USD price, you're looking at your QANX total. How many QANX total tokens you have in total? You're trying to accumulate QANX. You're not caring about the USD price. Why? Because you know one day in the future, quantum computing will break modern day cryptography. You know that. We all know that. That's what's holding us together. That's what's brought everyone into this project. And you know, we all know that this project has developed a blockchain which resists those kinds of attacks. That's what you're betting on. That's what you're investing on. So for that kind of investment, dollar cost average. Yeah, just accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. Don't really think about it too much. You know, otherwise you're going to get stressed out. Yeah, it's going to go down 30%. Okay. But you'll get stressed out. You're stressing. If you're stressing in crypto, you shouldn't be in crypto because it shouldn't bring you stress. Yeah, your life has to be at peace. And if you're stressing, you're probably putting too much value into, yeah, you're probably like putting all your life savings and you've got no money to spend. You're eating sliced bread and peanut butter, baked beans and toast or something like that. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I have no idea. I'm just saying it's possible we go down for another test of these lows. That would be another good place to pick this up, hold the point of control. Another test of this trend line. Bitcoin is looking a little bit bearish right now, so why not? And worst case scenario, we get a real fake out. We go all the way for these lows. That's just that. I don't want that to happen. Anything can happen in crypto. That's a 30% drop in QANX. Then the problem is we have to get back above the point of control. It could happen. We had this big pump. Someone, the big whale could just come in and fucking buy again like that. Pump, pump, pump. We want to see volume actually for the next big pump. We want to see volume, yeah? So until we see that, and it can't just be like volume and sell, volume and sell. It has to be volume and continuation. So like this, I'll show you, this was a volume and sell, wasn't it? Look, this is volume. It came in and look at that sell off. So we don't want that. We don't want just volume and then sell. We want volume and continuation. We're all anticipating the mainnet. In terms of timing, I would argue that we probably could see, because what's happening now is that Trump wants to devalue the dollar. It's very obvious what Trump is doing. He's trying to devalue the dollar. He wants to pump crypto. He wants to pump it to the moon. He wants to pump all his coins. And then the US Treasury, whatever, they want to dump the market. They want to dump crypto onto the market and pay off their debt. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah, so there's a big play unfolding before our eyes. And it's clear as day. So I do think possibly we're going to see another January to March crazy alt season. Yeah. Even though people think, all right, the bull market is over. It's reached that time, September, October. The bull market is over. You know, there's lots of things happening that changes the future. And I know, or it seems like Trump wants to do some shit. And we just have to be patient, because this isn't, it's clearly not alt season. Even though some alts have hit all-time high, alt season is parabolic in price discovery. That's what alt season is. And it's all alts. It isn't just, it's like most alts will pump. And we're not seeing that right now. We're seeing a lot of the majors pump, but we're not seeing all the alts pump. So we're clearly not in that kind of crazy phase yet. And this is clearly geared for a crazy phase. At the very least, to hit the all-time high. I think it probably will. And maybe higher. Maybe even higher. It's got everything to do with the mainnet. And so until that happens, we're just looking at QANX and twiddling our thumbs and twiddling our toes and wondering what's going to happen. But eventually, I think what we want to see is we want to see the price break out, hold. That's going to be a real sign for volume, and then pump. That's what we want to see in the future. Until we see that, we're still range bound. We're still accumulating. Something to bear in mind, usually pumps happen from lows. And so that's why I think it's possible either to take out this low for a pump, because this clearly wasn't a pump, huh? Or these lows here. Does that make sense? You know, pumps should happen from the lows. They don't just happen just like that. Unless there's a crazy mega, let's say, just say QANX gets a massive partnership with Microsoft. Let's just say that happens. Yeah, sure. Pump. Wherever it is. And shit can happen, you know, with QANX. But until that happens, I think we're just range bound as always. And dollar cost average accumulate and just be patient. Try not to chase other coins. Try not to sell just because BNB is pumping. Try not to chase that. But then if you do chase, bring it back in, bring the value back into QANX. Royal is asking, are they launching mainnet this year? No idea, mate. No idea. Let's ask AI. Is the main net for the Quant platform being launched this year or next? When is the ETA? Let's see what AI said. I probably should have used ChatGPT, because sometimes I think Grok is a bit stupid. Drum roll. The good thing about Grok is it does use the X platform for some information. You know, it does use like tweets and stuff to try and figure out what's going on. Oh, they haven't looked. See that? Royale just said, also buying D-Travel soon. 100,000 tokens. Yes, mate. I appreciate you. Thank you. You you obviously watch my videos and I appreciate that. And I'm here working hard in El Salvador, doing some great things. And so watch this space. Yeah, awaiting final security audits. Look, at least Grok explores video content from X, and that's kind of why I like Grok, because it does have a different reach. So the QANX mainnet is not launched yet, but is planned for 2025, which means this year, based on the current date. The team is currently in their final stages of security audits, with the QVM audit completed in July 25 and the X-Link audit expected to wrap up in October 25. After that, they will resubmit or submit the remaining code for review and announce an estimated launch date based on the auditor's timeline. The monthly status updates starting in October. No exact ETA has been shared yet, but the focus is on the ecosystem growth preparations leading up to the launch. I think it's possible just to kind of hold until the end of March or mid-March. That's kind of what's on my mind at the moment. Just because I want to see crazy alt season where retail flood the market, and we haven't seen that. And I do think that is what BlackRock and all these big billionaires and whatever, Trump, I think that's what they want, because that's how they are able to sell into liquidity, into retail. That's what they do. They draw them in and then they stump on their asses, and that's when you get the mega pumps on all these kind of relatively smaller obscure coins. And if the reality is, when QANX launches, there's going to probably be a mega marketing campaign, a lot of hype, possibly, hopefully you're going to get lots of exchanges pick it up all of a sudden, because you've got this new layer one, quantum resistant. We could see like, even though the all-time high is 20 cents, a 4-year breakout. Do you really think that's going to hold as resistance? It might be a good place to take profit, but then you could get more volume coming in, because all of a sudden QANX is on the radar. Do you really think that's it? After 4 years, you really think that's going to hold the price? Not likely. Such a long consolidation, such a breakout of the 4 years. I think we're probably going higher. We have to look at the volume. Suddenly you're going to start getting some big volume coming in, because it's suddenly going to be on the radar. Everyone's going to be going, this is a new layer one. This is quantum resistant. Let me get some. Let me buy some. I need to be on board. Developers are going to come in. They're going to have to buy QANX to run their applications. You know, there's a lot of things going to be incentivizing people to buy this token. So the best thing you can do is nothing, really. If you're holding QANX, do nothing. Don't even look at the price. My videos are entertainment value only, really, aren't they? Sharing a little bit of news, information, rallying the troops, keeping people to dollar cost average, and telling people it's still okay. You know, we're still good. We're not going down because we're above the point of control. We're still in this kind of holding pattern. You know, the plane is flying around in this holding pattern. So that's kind of my QANX update. So I appreciate you guys. Like and share if you may, if you like this video, and that gives me more energy. That gives me the energy to continue, you know, when people like, share, comment. And I'm continuing my Friday updates with QANX, kind of rallying the troops. I hold QANX. I do. That's my, I'm not financial advice, you know, entertainment value only. I hold it. I do believe in this project, and I do believe in the future where quantum computing will probably break all crypto, probably. Yeah. So whatever you do, whenever you sell, hold a little bit for the future, because you just never know. You know, one day we could be sitting on a $100 billion market cap layer one. Yeah. And what the fuck? Imagine if it got to $100 billion. What's the price of this token now? 0.0. Let me just do the sums. It's quite interesting, yeah. Let's say it's 0.03 cents. All right, let me just do the sums here. So I've done this with TRV. I'll do it with QANX. QANX is currently, how much was the market cap? This is just entertainment, yeah. Don't take this. Take this as entertainment. 52 million or 53, let's say. QANX is currently $53 million. What would the price of the token be if it reached 100 billion? And what would the X multiplier be at that target MCAP? And if I had $1,000 investment in QANX, now how much would my investment be at the $100 billion target? You know, AI is so amazing. You just ask it questions and it just figures out shit for you, isn't it? So it's kind of fun. I kind of like to have fun with this kind of stuff. Why not? Why not $100 billion in the future? Why not more? Why not? It's totally within reach. Quantum computing, 5-10 years. I don't see why not. That's why you hold a little bit, like $1,000. If you sell and you just hold $1,000 investment, just calculate that and just hold a little bit just for the future, just in case QANX does reach 100 billion. You won't be a billionaire, but you'll still walk away with happy, and that's what we all want to do. We all want to be happy, don't we? Come on, Grok, figure this shit out. Well, I thought you meant to be smart. I don't want to know all this browsing web page. How long does it take to browse a web page? I read faster than you. Return to 404 error. That's not good. I should just probably press quick answer, but it's kind of fun watching Grok fail to succeed. So, see this, $1,000 would be worth probably nearly $2 million. See that? At 100 billion. So even if you sell, it's worth holding $1,000 worth of investment just for a long hold, because when QANX hits like 100 billion, you still walk away with a handsome profit in the future. You could be a QANX maximalist and just forget about it. You could totally do that. But the reality is most people don't. What most people do is they take profit. They convert that profit into their lifestyle. Buy apartments, buy homes, buy cars, pay off their mortgages. That's the reality. And you should never not do that, because the markets go in cycles. You don't want to be caught when you're in healthy profit, big recessions hit, and then suddenly you're fucked. Don't want to do that. That's a mistake. You can't be like, unless you're already a multimillionaire and you don't care, then that's a mistake. So when you do sell, just make sure you hold a little bit. Yeah, don't just kind of sell everything and go all in and all out. That's not a healthy strategy. And then I do think there's going to be a big recession. I do think the recession is probably going to last for 2 years. I do think it's probably going to last from 26 to 28. I do think that. I really do believe that. So I think it's probably going to happen after March. I think Trump is probably going to crash the markets. I don't know why. He probably wants to pay off the debt and do stuff. He's got his grand plan in mind, and he doesn't care about anyone. And so therefore, when we get an opportunity to take profit and walk and convert that into solving life problems, you take that exit. You just hold a little bit, because you never know the future. No one knows the future, and it's worth just kind of holding a little bit. $1,000. Let's see how much $1,000. How many tokens is one of coin? I hope it gives me a quick answer. Actually, I'm just going to do a quick answer when I get a chance. Give me a quick answer. Oh, it gave me a quick answer. So you only have to hold 32,000 tokens. Yeah. And you just hold that for the long hold, 10 years. Just hold. That would be a smart play, very smart play. And then the rest is just profit at the end of this bull market. Not financial advice, but that's probably what I would do. Probably, yeah. And then in a bear market, you reaccumulate. That's what you do. You look for good levels to buy, wait for the big dips at good levels, and you just buy a little bit over a long period of time. In a bear market, you wait a year and you start buying, usually. And then you accumulate over a year, and then depending on what happens in the bull market, yeah, you could end up reaccumulating. And the reality is, whatever happens, let's just say we do go crazy. In a bear market, you're probably coming all the way back down to retest this range. Probably you'll go up. I don't know how high. Let's just say we go up 5,000%. You'll end up coming all the way back down 97, 96%, just back to test the breakout in a bear market. That's usually what happens. And that's what you wait for in a bear market. And then when it does happen, you start to reaccumulate. You're reaccumulating with your gains. That's why you have to take profit. You take profit. You sell into euphoria. That's what you do. Are you feeling euphoric in QANX right now? No. So you don't sell. When you get euphoria, you start selling. You start scaling out. That's what happens. Kenyatta. I have no idea what WIF has got to do with QANX. All right. So that's QANX. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. I feel the love. And so I send it back with my Friday updates. I hope that kind of helps a little bit. Probably a little bit for some people. All right. Let's move on.